Well, Elliot. Welcome to episode 1 of Graphic Design is My Elliot. GDIME. 9 out of 10 viewers say they go goo goo gaga for GDIME. The happiest of Mondays to you all. It is truly Elliot time. Pause for the thumbnail. On the menu for today, an official welcome to GDIME, an over-analysis of the graphic design joke in Across the Spiderverse, the role of criticism in graphic design, and comedy as a graphic designer. That's a scripted intro that I have for the first episode. Oh my God. That felt terrible. I've just got this little script up on that monitor there. And the payoff wasn't as good as I thought it would be. But hello, welcome everyone. It is officially 2:23. Just to get my idea of how long this episode is going to be. Just so I can plan it out so I know when to shut up. Welcome to episode 1 of Graphic Design is My Elliot. This is the only episode, obviously, as it's episode 1. There would never be, there's no such thing as episode 0. This is the pilot. There definitely isn't a previous episode that exists on this. This is the one that you are getting promoted. But hello, welcome into my second channel. This is obviously the Elliot is a Cool Guy branch account, I guess, where I just have a chat. I just talk for as long as I want. As long as you guys want, in a way, because you can turn the video off whenever you want. Just about graphic design, about me, and about everything in between. Everything that could possibly exist between me and graphic design. And that's all part of the fun. We've got some sound effects here that I rarely use, but they are still here. Let me put this down for a second. We also have a zoom. Welcome to episode 1. We can now zoom in for dramatic effect. Oh God! How about all this? Hey, thanks so much for the response to the first episode. This zeroth episode. That's frustrating. 0th episode last week. I really did not think anyone would give a rat's ass, and then a lot of people came out of the woodwork to say that they actually enjoyed the vibe of the video. In fact, I didn't get a single negative comment, and that can only be a good thing. So thank you for the support on that one. I needed to hear it. I needed to hear it, if I'm being honest. So that's great. I feel so much more confident about it, and I'm so keen to just have a laugh on this thing because it's a lot of fun. And I've been coming up with all these ideas as the week's gone by. Every time I have an idea, I'm like, oh, write it down, put it on GDIME. And you guys are the people I give a shit about. All right, this is the community here. Okay, I read every single one of your comments, guaranteed. Okay. Guaranteed. I take the feedback on. Someone suggested, hey, you should include chapters in your video so people can know what topic you're talking about when. So true. As much as I hate the idea of having to watch back half an hour of just rambling, it makes a lot of sense, and I will implement that in today's video, okay? We have a menu, we have an agenda, we have things to talk about, which is awesome. We'll start with the featured item of the week. It's, of course, the YouTube play button, sitting right over there. We did a little live stream last week going on about that, which was a lot of fun. Thanks for coming to the reveal party if you were there. We had a little bit of an issue, I think, on that stream where I took a phone call for some reason, and I might have been someone in the live stream may have found my phone number and were trying to prank call me, which is a serious security concern. In fact, I probably shouldn't have even brought this up, but the fact that this is unedited means that I will not delete this from the video. And I've said it now, and I can't do anything about that. And that's what GDIME's all about. So shout out to the play button for being the featured item of the week. I love that thing, and it's great. Happy NBA Finals win to the Denver Nuggets as well. I can finally reset my life because the NBA Finals and the NBA in general. The games are played during midday. In the regular season, it's 10 a.m. till 3 p.m. You're watching the NBA. And I love the NBA so much. So it ruins my scheduling. It ruins my life, if I'm being honest. Especially when you follow the Washington Wizards, a franchise that makes you believe in anything but hope. So that was that's good. Good game today. I'm glad it's over. Thank God I can get back into making stuff. And just, and getting stuff done. I'm allowed to do that. But yeah, that's that. So we'll start with If this is your first time watching, you're probably wondering what the hell is what the hell is this, obviously. But yeah, this is the kind of vibe. We just chat, we hang out. There were some few people in the comments last week saying that they were working, they needed something new to work with. So if you're working right now, keep it up. Love that for you. That's what this is all about. A little bit of white noise, you know, a little bit of shh in the background of your head while you're working. So maybe some people fall asleep to GDIME. Who knows? But speaking of the phrase or the word GDIME, the term GDIME, I can already see it on hats already. Graphic design is my Elliot is the name of this. Where the fuck did that come from? I don't have a bleep button. That's what this needs. Let me try. We'll do a meow instead. Where the fuck did that come from? Graphic design is my Elliot is a parody. I didn't explain this last week, so I wanted to explain it today. It's a parody of graphic design is my passion, right? And it's graphic design is my Elliot. And that's it. That's literally the explanation. That's all I got. Uh-oh. It makes sense though, I think. Because then, you know, you've got like graphic design is my prison. Graphic design is my friend. Things that people have done. Graphic design is my Elliot is just so absurd that I think it works really well for this kind of format. And also the abbreviated version, GDIME, is kind of like g'day, which is Australian slang for hello. And that's what this is in a way as well. It's me saying GDIME to all of you. Yeah? So it has that nice ring to it. So in the comments, say GDIME to each other. Maybe that's how GDIME, mate. Maybe that's how you address the start of every comment. That's our thing. Okay? That's our thing. I'm locking it in now. That's our thing. GDIME, mates. And then the comment. How about that? Sometimes I forget to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I hope you can't hear the vibration. Just got an email from Woolworths Everyday Rewards. I honestly think that in the last GDIME, I got the exact same email. Anyway, GDIME. GDIME, mate. Here's a criticism for the video. You know, something like that. That could be funny. Anyway, I thought that'd be cute just now. So that's the reason it's called GDIME. I really like the name. I think it's a bit of fun. I was going to call it just Welliot at one point, but that's already my handle for the main channel. The handle of this channel is Graphic Design is my Elliot, which isn't nice. I might change that to GDIME. I think GDIME is the preferred term for the channel, the podcast, whatever you want to call it. Also, if you would like this on Spotify, let me know. I can try and get this on audio stuff. I can look into it. Because right now I'm enjoying the video, but if we want just the audio thing, because look, I'm gonna say it now. There's nothing that's going to appear on the screen apart from just me chatting and the occasional zoom. So I'm going to get rid of all visual elements. I mean, I will be adding like a featured item of the week little button that I can press and it will show up on the screen. And I've got little branding elements that I've made. I'm going to be honest. I've got like 5 different branding elements that I want to put on the screen. So there's a little, like, you get like a 1% extra enjoyment if you watch the video, but this can be an audio thing. Maybe you want to go for a run and listen to GDIME. So that we can talk about that. We can talk about that. Let me know once again. The next thing on the agenda, I've seen Across the Spiderverse twice now. Okay, I saw it last Thursday and I saw it last night. One of the main reasons I saw it again last night is so I could specifically write down on my phone the exact. So this is minor spoilers. It's not a spoiler. It's not a spoiler. If you haven't seen it yet, this will not affect your viewing at all. Unless you are really anticipating this graphic design joke and you want to like be there to witness it. But there is a graphic design reference in the movie. One of those moments where it happened, I looked over to my friend and I was like, you know, looking over to my friends, being like, that's what I did. That's you guys. It's funny. It's you know, no one cared. I really cared. So the way, first of all, really quickly, what a movie. God, I love the cinema so much. I really liked the first film, but I just loved this one so much. I'll probably see it again. I've been listening to the soundtrack for the entire week. I can't get enough of it. It's amazing. Anyway, we won't talk too much about it because I don't want to spoil it for anyone. Just go and see it. It truly is a masterpiece. I don't like superhero films at all, but this is just so good. It's just so good. Anyway. There is a graphic design joke. So there is a very, very, very quick cut where you see a villain called, who they address as, they go, this is Typeface, and he's in a cage, and his name's Typeface. And Typeface says, see you in Helvetica, Spider-Man. And then Spider-Man says, bold. And that's it, okay? But let's do a little deep dive into this, okay? Because they've just introduced, I don't know if this is a comic book character or not, or if this is just one of the multiverse things, but they have introduced a villain who I guess harnesses the power of graphic design and fonts. His name is Typeface, okay? He's funny in a way. He uses a pun. See you in Helvetica, Spider-Man. Very cheeky. To which Miles responds with another pun, saying bold, okay? And also, when he says bold, the word appears on screen in bold. You see it in bold, okay? Typeface is also adorned with some kind of... I was too busy focusing on the dialogue that I actually missed kind of like the appearance of the character. But he's wearing like some kind of chain thing with like just letters. Like there's all these like characters just like around his neck, all in different fonts, I think. And it got me thinking, what's the power of Typeface? What is his power? If this is a real villain, I'm not even going to look it up, okay? I'm not going to look it up. I don't care about the comics. I don't care about the reality of this. This is a hypothetical. What is his power? And I'm like, does he harness the power of words? Like, can he take the words that you say, maybe animate them and turn them into real things and then use them as like bullets, maybe? Is that something like that? What is this guy's deal? And how do you become a villain like that? Like, what? If I dress up as this guy for Halloween, is anyone going to give a shit? So I thought it was fascinating that they would include that in the movie. I really, really appreciated the nod. The Helvetica reference as well was classic. I think it's that kind of level of like, I feel most people know Helvetica. You don't have to be a graphic designer to know Helvetica, but it's enough. It's not like it's not like Times New Roman. Everyone knows Times New Roman, right? Everyone. Helvetica though, like it's like that's like they're talking to us. They're talking to us graphic designers. They're going like, hey, this one's for you, and I really appreciated that. Now, once again, I wasn't paying too much to the visuals, but I did ask my friends afterwards. I said, was Typeface bold, right? And is Miles saying bold? Is he also addressing the fact that Typeface is bald and we've got a double entendre there? Is that what we're seeing here? And they said he was not bald. So if any of the writers of Across the Spider-Verse are watching, then maybe note that is something that you could have added. And I think would have been so funny. I would have loved to see that in the film. And that's why I give the film 3 stars. No, just kidding. It's a 5. It's a 5. I loved that film so much. But yeah, that was funny. That was a really nice moment. I wrote on my script thing an over-analysis, and I was going to try and make this part 10 minutes long, but I have nothing left to say about this. So we're gonna move on. Why did I think I could drag that out for 10 minutes? Oh, God. See, this is episode 1. We're still teething. Still in the teething phase. You know? We've been going... Sorry, I'm just keeping a track on the time as well at the same time. I don't want this to drag on. 40 minutes was a lot for episode 0. Okay. The next thing I wanted to talk about, just going a little bit outside of the random comedy stuff, is there's a Internet Shaquille, who's one of my favorite YouTubers, who I'm very thankful you can say, is a friend of the channel. He's a fantastic Twitch streamer as well. Went to design school, but does cooking content, okay? And general lifestyle stuff as well. And I think the only reason you can say that now is because he made one video about a guide to Las Vegas, which I think falls under lifestyle and not cooking. So I would say that is now a variety channel. But he has a second channel called Extranet Shaquille. Great name. And he kind of does the opposite to this in a way, where he it looks like from the last few channels. I really got to have a chat to this. He's my mate. I should just talk to him about it. But he's like, it looks like he's done a big filming session. Then he cuts it up into smaller parts and they're all scripted. Whereas this is one big filming session. I don't cut it up and none of it's scripted apart from the intro, which I will remind you was scripted, and which is why it was so clean and funny. So he recently did one about criticism, and I kind of skimmed through it. I was in a rush and I just was like killing some time by jumping on YouTube, and I had like 5 minutes and there was a 30-minute video. So I kind of jumped around. It's a few days ago, so I also kind of forgot what he was talking about. But he's pro-criticism, and there's obviously levels to it. But it kind of got me thinking like, oh, of course. I have a very strong stance about criticism and graphic design, but I think it's more nuanced than I think it is myself. And I kind of want to go into that a little bit because there was something that I used to do, and I say used to generously because I'd love to get back to it. I would love to get back to it. Design Chef, for those of you who don't know. I did it on YouTube for a little bit, but it was birthed on Twitch. Okay, so basically the process of this is a live stream. I give everyone watching a challenge of some sort. So like it can involve like design this quote in any way you want, design in a circle, design a fake meal for a fake restaurant of your choosing, kind of thing. Like there was a bunch of different prompts. I think we had like 40 prompts in the end or something like that. There's a list somewhere in the Discord. And what the whole thing was, we would all design it together. So you'd have 60 minutes to design. Everyone would design, and then everyone would send in their work to a Discord channel. I would present my work that I'd done that everyone could watch at the same time. And then I would go through every single submission and just say some nice things about it. And the whole thing that I would joke about, and we got the term toxic positivity was kind of emphasized more and more as every episode kind of went on, because it really is what it became about. I would say no criticism, right? So anyone watching, no criticism. I will not criticize. I don't know enough about graphic design to criticize. I don't think it's going to be worth it. And also, no one in the chat saying just hype each other up was the goal, right? And I found this very interesting. I didn't think it would work because I thought at the beginning that everyone would want notes. Like I feel like a lot of people really like notes. Criticism is a way of getting better. Like without it, you're just going to be hyped up forever, and it kind of doesn't work. But what really fascinated me was doing it for like a year or so. About like a year into Design Chef, doing it once a week. I realized that there were some people who had never even touched graphic design before, and the progress in 1 year of pretty much like just doing Design Chef and a little bit of stuff outside. Most people who joined along for Design Chef either already had an Instagram page where they would post their work, or they would start an Instagram page to post their work, because I would kind of really encourage it as someone who kind of came from Instagram. And they would just like be ridiculously talented graphic designers just in a year, right? No formal education, just kind of like having a go. And I was like, why is that? What is the go with that? And I think I've always been a big believer that confidence is one of the most important things in graphic design, and honestly any creative field. I used to be an improv coach. I would teach theater sports, which is like short form improvisation. And my biggest thing there was like, if you are confident, no matter what, your stuff's going to be baseline good, right? Like you're going to just have a really good, like it's not going to be, you're never going to flop if you're confident. If you go out there and you're confident, people are going to believe you and they're going to have a laugh. It may not be amazing, but it's at least going to be good. And I think design is kind of like a similar thing, where it's like, if you make some confident choices and you yourself think like, no, this is good, what I'm making is good, even if like 99% of people in the world think not, like it's like, it's gonna be a lot better than just anything that you design that you're sitting around going like, I'm following the rules, but I don't feel like it's me. I don't feel like it's the right. I don't feel like it's good. Like it's such an important thing. And Design Chef really brought that out in people. And I was kind of worried that, like people would be hearing the same thing, the really nice stuff from people week after week, and that would kind of change. But it really just seemed to only help. It only helped. And I've always thought that because like Instagram is such a nice place. Like it's such a nice place. And I think posting your work online in any kind of way invites a lot of criticism, right? YouTube especially. I've noticed this on YouTube. I read a comment just before I started filming this, funnily enough, one of my most recent comments on the Every Program video. And it just said like, bro literally designed phone wallpapers for 23 minutes, right? And I kind of look at these comments and I used to be really put off by them because I was like, oh, I'm not actually making anything good. I'm not a good designer, all this stuff. But then I think like people, for some reason on YouTube, people expect that if you upload, and I think Instagram less so, but maybe Twitch, maybe some other platforms, TikTok, you get comments like this too, where you documenting your own experience, people think that you are an expert, right? Like that you are, if you've got the guts to post this online, that means you must be really good. You must think you're top shit. But it's like, no, I prefer the experience of documenting it. I'd much rather have an audience and just put my work out no matter how shit it is. I'd much rather do that. And I think a lot of people can say the same. I'd much rather just have eyes on it just to like have it be seen, because it's not for a client. A lot of the work, pretty much all the work I do, and a lot of Instagram designs, it's not for a client. It's not for anyone really in particular. It's for yourself. And it's good and all to make the work, but I think people seeing the work and that bit of validation that you get is so encouraging. I think some people can go without it. I'm sure a lot of people have done a 365 poster project and never posted it anywhere, never shared it, but still gained all that, valuable knowledge and all the lessons learned from pushing yourself that hard, right? But some people, me especially, I find like I kind of need that little bit of, I need the eyes to think that it's good, to think that it's worth doing, which is probably a bad way of doing it, but it's just how I operate, and I was born for content, baby. But yeah, it's like I've never really heard too much criticism because I never went to design school. I never did like design courses. The only really real place I've ever been criticized is YouTube now, or client feedback. And client feedback, I think, doesn't even exist on the criticism spectrum. It's like, it's a different thing. It's a job. It's just part of the job, right? It's not like I don't think it's ever aiming to be constructive or anything. It's like, the idea is not to critique. It's more to just fix, adjust for the sake of the work. But yeah, it's a very funny thing. It's a very funny thing. I usually I think still, I feel very strongly that unwarranted criticism, especially when someone's put their heart and blood into making a piece of art or something, and someone just says like, maybe you should have tried this, but in a mean way, I think is always bullshit, and I think ruins any kind of. It just makes it hard for the artists. I think we as people should try and make life as easy as possible for creatives, because I think that is where the best juices kind of come from. I think when people are feeling good about it and wanting to do it. So that's it's always been interesting. I remember I used to do it. I used to do portfolio reviews very briefly on my Twitch channel. I think I did like one stream where I did portfolio reviews. And I hated it so much. Like, oh my God, it sucked. Like, it was exhausting. It was so exhausting. I got like 2 portfolios in and I was like, Jesus, like in your head, you go like, how can I be nice about this? How can I, because you're trying to compliment things, but also giving criticism at the same time. I don't know how professors and all that do it. You got to be a little bit heartless sometimes, I feel, if you want to do it like for a life. But yeah, criticism in graphic design is a funny thing. Let me know what your thoughts on it are, because I think, I don't know where I stand overall on it. I've been thinking about it a bit, but I do think, I do really think that the power of just hyping someone up is such an integral part to improving as a designer. Like, I'm such a big believer in that, because it is so, like, especially hearing it from other graphic designers, I think is the main thing. Graphic design can be very isolating. And when you're working for clients, you kind of, I think a lot of people go from like a school environment and they kind of, have these other students, everyone's working together. You're all kind of like getting critiqued together. You're building together. You might have a grad show, whatever it is. And then you're kind of thrown out into the world as a freelancer potentially. And the only real feedback you hear is from clients, right? People kind of a bit detached from graphic design in general. And that can kind of throw you. So it's like nice to hear from other graphic designers like, oh, wow, this has inspired me. This is really cool. I love this, love this. So yeah, I think it's very important. And I hope everyone can find a space where you can get that. And I think that's what Instagram offers at least. But Design Chef especially offered it. And I think it did a lot of good for a lot of young designers. And I will bring it back to those who want it back. I will. I was thinking about it a lot today, just being like, damn, I really should bring it back. And I think I will, because it was a lot of fun. And it just takes a lot out of me, because I put on a chef costume and I do a song and all this other stupid stuff. But it's still fun. But yeah, let me know what you think about all that. The next thing I wanted to talk about is comedy, and I guess my kind of comedy pursuits, because I have, well, and I guess where graphic design kind of ties into it, because I just signed up for an open mic night, which will be on Sunday, and I have never done stand-up before in my life, but I've always wanted to. I mainly do improv, and I love it. It's my bloody lifeblood. And part of the reason I want to move to New York is I can do more improv. I just love improv. And it's like kind of a small community here in Australia, but it's strong. But I just love the sense of opportunity that exists in the beautiful United States of America. So I've just signed up for an open mic night, right? And I don't know if I'll actually get it or not. Like there's a waiting list, I think. So apparently if you sign up for it twice, the second time is when you're more likely to get it. But I could get it. I know the guy who runs it, so he could put me through. But I have been thinking like I want to make comedy stuff that isn't graphic design. But and I think this is why I like improv so much, because it's just on the spot. You don't have to think about it too much. But when it comes to like actually sitting down and writing jokes, every single time I start with graphic designer in restaurant, critiques logo of store, and it's just boring and it sucks. And I don't want to be a graphic design comedian. Like I'm like trying to hold on to that so much. Like I do not want graphic design to infiltrate comedy. I want it to be a separate thing. But it's so like it's ruined me. Like this, it's actually like I'm stuck because all I can think about is make the logo bigger, Comic Sans jokes kind of stuff. And that's kind of it's playing with my head a little bit. I've trialed and tested a few jokes that I've written down on my Twitch audience, and they all kind of hate them, but in like a good way. Like, you know, I don't know what it'll be, but I'm very interested to try it out and actually write some stuff down, because I think it's a natural career path for a lot of YouTubers, a lot of comedy content creators. I think you want to I'm so used to getting the ha-has in the comments, you know, and then in the live stream, 2 minutes later, basically, it's like, really like 3 seconds later, you get a delayed reaction if you make a joke, right? And there's nothing better than like that in-person feedback, which is an audience. So I kind of missed that a lot, and I look forward to kind of getting that back. But it's tough as well. Like if I were to do a solo show one day, if I promote it on Elliot is a Cool Guy, are people going to come just to watch graphic design stuff? And I hope not. I don't think so anymore. I think there was a point where that would be the case, but I think a lot of people like the personality, and that's a very good thing. Last week's GDIME validated that for me as well. If you guys are keen just to hear me talk about anything, then people should be keen to hear me actually do some scripted comedy. I think that would be a good thing. But yeah, I'm very keen to see where that will take me. I think an open mic night will be a very big challenge. I also only find out I think like 24 hours before, and I haven't like got a set, so I'll have to like sprint one out, which I think is also good as well. I like time constraints. I think that'll help, but I'm a little bit nervous. I'm a lot of bit nervous actually. It's very easy posting online, because if it flops, you just blame an algorithm, right? If it bombs, you just go it's just Instagram fucking me over again. Oh, whatever. It's just you know, the color wasn't bright enough on the post, so it wasn't the writing. The writing was funny. And then like in person, you know, you have to suffer through that in real time as you say a joke about, I don't know, something. I've got this joke about the Infinite Hotel, which is a shocker, but I will probably use it. And that'll be tough. That'll be really tough if no one laughs, you know. What will that do to me? Will that affect Elliot as a Cool Guy? The confidence that I've got from this channel? Should I try and separate it actively? Because this is what I want to do. That's the kind of career path I want to go down, if I'm being honest. Like this is the behind the scenes moment. That's what I love the most, right? Like performing and comedy and all that. Graphic design can kiss my ass at the end of the day. I actually had a thought. I think I am so, now that this is working out, and it has been working out for like 3 years now, it's like I had a thought the other day, and I was like, God, I'll grow out of this at one point, right? That's just the natural thing of like a YouTuber. Like I wouldn't say I'm at my peak of YouTube yet. I am in terms of the career so far. Like obviously last video was the most viewed, but it's like there will be a point where the views stop and the momentum stops, and I'm no longer the talking point if I stop evolving with it. And even if I just keep evolving with it, it's just going to happen eventually. People will just get bored of it. And then what? Then then it's just like, God, it's just weird. It's a very weird thing. The whole YouTube game, I guess. And it's like, I kind of putting all my eggs in this one basket in a way, where it's like, I'm not like, reject the idea of working with clients because I hated it. I'm like, I don't need to work with clients. I just do influencer work now. Whoa, whoa. But it's like, I should actually get good at graphic design. Like I should genuinely probably go to school and like learn how to do it. Because I can do it, but I can't. I would like to be good at work at that kind of at branding and logo design. I can't design logos. I'm terrible at designing logos. And I hate doing logos, and I would love to love it eventually. But yeah, it's weird. It's like where will this actually take me? Where will this go? What happens if YouTube just shuts down tomorrow? All of social media shuts down. Then what? So it's a lot to think about. But God, I wrote down some monthly goals. I forget if I did this after. I think I did this before. I might have talked about this last GDIME. That's not what these episodes are going to be, by the way, in the future. Me going, did I talk about this? Have I talked about this before? Making sure that doesn't happen. Mental bank is going to be extreme. But like, God, did I really? I'm forgetting what I just said. Oh no, I've been derailed by my own thought process here. Anyway, I've just lost what I said. It's the first episode. This is allowed to happen. How long have we been going? We've been going for half an hour. But yeah, that's kind of a big thought. Oh yes, I wrote down some goals and I am trying to apply for a visa this month, ideally. Then I get 3 years. 3 years worth. Well, no, sorry, I get a year to use it. And I think that would be good. So I really want to kind of lock that in now because the prospect of New York is just so exciting. It's so exciting and it makes me very excited. And I really want to make that, now that I've told you guys about it, you know, I gotta live up to that. Otherwise you have to all call me out. That's important. Hold me accountable if I do not make the journey, because I would just love to experience that. I think as well, I was talking to a few friends about this too. Like Sydney's like a big city, right? But like, I live a little bit further away from this. I get like, like it's not, I'm not like in the city. Like I'm in the inner west, which is suburb-ish kind of thing. But I'd love to live like properly in a city for a little bit. I'm a city guy. I like tech and I like big buildings. I wish I liked the forest, but I don't. I like the big city life. Can't deny it. And I'm excited for that. Just to everything that I have, like I want to do all the same things that I do here, but just like on that different scale, I think. And I'm very keen. I'm still unsure if I should like apply for a few design jobs there and kind of like work in branding for a little bit while I'm there as well as doing all this. But it's a lot to think about. But yeah, I'm excited. And I'm really excited for GDIME because this was fun. I feel so much more confident this one. Yeah, end of episode review, everyone. I think this was good. Time goes by really quickly is what I'm learning. When you have an agenda as well, you're spending a minimum of 5 minutes on everything it feels. And you're like, oh God, I can only really have like 3 or 4 talking points really before it screws me over. But I can also dwindle less on certain things, but then I'll just need more talking points. But I like dragging things out, But yeah, thanks so much for GDIMing with me. That's not a thing. We're not going to make that a thing. Me and the dog have loved having you here. We've loved having you here. Thank you again for the support on the first one. It made me confident enough to keep going, and I'm going to keep doing this. This is so easy. It's so easy. That's what I love about this. It's just everything else takes so much time. Even a post on Instagram now takes like 3 hours to make because I just have nothing left to make jokes about. And then this is like easy. I've never done anything like this, so I can just chill out. And maybe in a year from now, it'll be really annoying. God, that'll be like episode 50 by that point. Isn't that wild? If it's still a thing. That's up to you. No, it's up to me. I would love to keep it a thing. I can't wait. I'm going to Japan in September. I want to keep doing GDIME in Japan. And like, if I do more traveling, do GDIME like as we go around. I think that could be really fun too. Have a different setup and everything. Like, still bring a camera and just sit down and chat for a little bit. That'll be exciting. I'm really keen for that. While my brother's like next to me or something, family around, and I'm like, just, hey, maybe I could get a guest on, maybe a family guest. I would also love to get some guests on this, so I'm thinking about doing that soon too, and kind of like doing the standard GDIME, I guess, for like the first half hour, and then having like a second half hour with a guest. And maybe one day I'll drag these out to an hour. And maybe I'll hide the second hour behind the second half hour behind a paywall. Could you imagine? That's like a long-term thing. Patreon. God. Talk about bad branding. I think that's a universally accepted idea. I'm pretty sure. But anyway, make sure to start your comments with "GDIME, mate." It's tough to say. And thanks for tuning in for this week. And I'll see you next week, guys. I'll see you next week. I'm looking forward to it. Who knows what I'll be doing a week from now? Who knows? I also intend to upload on Mondays, not Tuesdays. I didn't upload yesterday because I got a last minute invitation to play basketball with some friends, and I was like, yes. And then I actually kind of fucked up one of my toes, and now I can't wear closed footwear. That's why I'm wearing Crocs. A little bit more about me. Anyway, see you later, everyone. Until next week. Have a good one.